from the Way of Unknowing, John Main, expanding spiritual horizons through meditation. It just comes, it's about, they call it Christian meditation. And to them, Christ is the way who is Christ. We will meet with.
Why you have to read all the types of meditation?
What?
We already read so many.
I'm going to read this one.
No, you just read from the book of mysticism.
Book of Mysticism.
It refers to everything.
No, let's continue with this.
No.
So you have to have right understanding.
Oh God, how many books you have to?
Don't you want to read all the books?
No, I don't. No, what you already know, it's.
Well, let's continue.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
No, we'll continue.
You spread your attention everywhere. The master said one point attention.
We will meet with fewer difficulties as we meditate. Difficulties. We will meet with fewer difficulties as we meditate if we approach it from the beginning with the right understanding. What?
Stop it, take that book over there.
What? I covered it. Words can clarify or consume, confuse.
The mystic book, that's it.
And seeing a shared meaning can be difficult. If we need to use the appropriate words to get the understanding straight from the beginning, the way who is Christ, we will meet with fewer difficulties as we meditate if we approach it from the beginning with the right understanding. Seems you need that in the beginning. Words can clarify or confuse, and seeing a shared meaning can be difficult, but we need to use the appropriate words to get the understanding straight. From the beginning, we are unclear. If we think of meditation, for example, as a technique, in the modern world, we are conditioned to thinking about techniques. Life presents us with a series of problems, each of which needs a specialized technique to solve it. People sometimes say to me, "What is the technique that you teach?" But what I want to suggest to you right at the beginning of your pilgrimage is that meditation is not really a technique at all. It is much more of a way. In essence, it is the way. That is Christ who said of himself, "I am the way." In meditation, we follow a way to be as open as we can be in this world without limitations to his spirit within us. To be truly open to anything calls for discipline, for devotion, for dedication. To be open to his spirit is to practice the discipline of a disciple who never forgets that he is on the way. For modern people, the word meditation often suggests passivity or inaction, but it is neither of these. Meditation is the way to a fulfilled state of being. Indeed, it is the state of being which is prior to all action, and without which all action will tend to be shallow. Without the significance of permanence, all sane action in our lives must flow out of the of being at one with being. This means that to meditate, we begin to learn to be wholly alert, to accept oneself wholly, to love oneself, and to know oneself rooted and founded in the utter reality that we call God. For the greater part of our life, we live at the surface level, so often reacting off immediacy, but in meditation we are not reacting to external stimuli. We are learning to live out of the depths of our being, where we are finding and responding to the supreme soul stimulus, the Creator. We are learning to be the person that we are called to be as we align ourselves in response to that source which has called us into existence. Being the person we are means enjoying the gift of our own creation before and beyond all desire, all expectations, all demands. The early monastic fathers describe this state as the state wherein we are one and beyond all desire, because we are utterly filled with the fullness of God. Being one is being whole. We have all we need for oneness, for wholeness, for passing beyond all desire. Desire is undesirable. Desire is undesirable because it can only complicate and divide what is meant to be simple and unified. The experience of meditation, therefore the experience of simplification, learning to become ever more and utterly simple. This is the secret of all happiness, to enjoy what is. Being is the primal experience of us all, prior to having all having, prior to all doing. Being is enduring. It is the internal in each of us. Now let me remind you of the way of being. You must learn to be still, to be simple, to be one. And the way that the monastic tradition gives us is the way of the mantra, constantly repeating it in our heart. Whereas many talks you may listen on meditation, however many books you may read, and I do not recommend you read too many or listen to too many talks. I would urge you always to remember this. The tradition is crystal clear to us now from our own experience. You may know this already from your own experience, that to be still, to be silent, and to be simple comes as you learn to be faithful to the recitation of the word from the beginning to the end. If you discover that you are not saying it, start saying it again, gently, simply, humbly, faithfully, and keep on returning to it from the beginning to the end. Do not think about it. Do not think about saying anything. Listen to it. Listen to the sound of it. Mantra is just like a harmonic. When we listen to that harmonic sounding in our own heart, we gradually and simply come into harmony through our own being, and so into harmony with all creation and into harmony with God. Meditation is the way that is entirely open to God, because it is entirely open to our own being and to the whole of creation. The way is free-flowing way, and it flows with the power of God that we discover in the depth of our own being. In that power, with that power, and through that power, we come to meet God in creation. So what is there that is passive about meditation? Meditation is learning to live out of the fullness of power. That power is the life of God, and it is the power of love. Never forget the essence of the way, reciting your word in ever deepening humility and ever deepening faithfulness. No thoughts, no imagination, no image. Be faithfully on the way who is Christ, and be prepared for the awakening that St. Paul describes as the essence of Christian faith. I pray that the God of our Lord Jesus Christ, of all glorious Father, may give you the spiritual powers of wisdom into vision, by which there comes the knowledge of Him. I pray that your inward eyes may be illuminated, so that you may know what is the hope to which He calls you, that what the wealth and glory of the share He offers you, and how vast the resource of His power open to us who trust in Him. They are measured by His strength and the might that which He exerted in Christ, which He raised Him from the dead. Ephesians 1:17. Sit down, be still in body, still in spirit, recite your word, and be open to that power, as when it is revealed to each of us. We read a short reading because we believe in shortness, the shortness that provides the right understanding to be on the way. Complain that we got the understanding. The meditation. We were learning about Christian meditation. Here we have Christian meditation from the Canterbury Press. The Way of Unknowing. Strange, we're trying to know what to do, be on the way by unknowing something. Do we know too much or something?
Is it the book of the unknowing?
No, this is the way of unknowing. This is the main way to do Christian meditation. Morning readings.
It was the same way in the ancient times. It's the same way.
All is the same.
So don't keep reading.
Don't keep reading. But that's paradoxical. You're saying not to read what we're doing, not to do what we're doing.
Not meditation through reading.
You're not going to learn it through reading. But it said to start with right understanding, which is true in Buddhism and stuff. Right understanding.
Right,
Conceptual.
When you have the experience.
Conceptual. It comes from me meditating.
There's no understanding by reading.
Wow. He's practiced for how many tens of thousands of hours. Still doesn't get it.